me get my background music going because I think for most of y'all who've heard me come on before, you know I've got to have some music. So this is Shelly Jeffcoat. I'm really excited. Today what I'm going to do is I'm basically just doing a brain dump for veterans, what you need to know as a veteran small business owner. So before I get too far into the material, and we're probably going to be here for about 30 minutes or so, you don't need to take notes. I'm going to save this video on our YouTube channel. But I do want to do a couple of quick shout outs and thank yous. First of all, to Parade Deck. Parade Deck is a group of content creators, and they also serve, and a lot of their audience members are veterans as well. So just want to do a quick shout out because I'm doing this on behalf of Parade Deck, of which I'm also one of the members and a very, very happy client. And also another shout out to Stars and Stripes, which is an amazing organization, a publication for veterans that's been around for a very, very long time. And so we just want to give a couple of nods to organizations that are supporting people like me. So why am I here? I'm here doing my basically a lunch hour to come on and share some of what I know with veterans who are transitioning into business, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a small business owner, wherever you are in your journey. I just wanted to come on and share some of the things that I think will be really helpful to you. And so just a little bit of setting the stage of what we're doing today. We're going to be talking about branding and everything that you should know. If you are in the early stages, whether you've just been you were a veteran and you're shifting into business, or maybe you are a veteran spouse and you're considering business. Maybe you're a small business, you've been around for some time and you're trying to figure out how to scale your business. I think this is going to be really applicable to you. And I know I'm talking to the veteran community, but this is something that, quite frankly, anyone can use. This is about $1,000 worth of knowledge. What's in my noggin? I'm just dropping it for free because I just want to make sure that you have what you need so you can go out and build incredible businesses and support our community overall. So I'm going to start with branding. I kind of like to start here what it is. And what you're seeing here is just, I always try to tell people you need to be original. So I'm just going to set some foundational things and just go with me because there is a journey I'm going to take you on. But your brand is your most valuable asset as a company. I think a lot of times when people think about branding, and for those of y'all who are, maybe you're familiar with what branding is, or maybe it's new to you. So I'm going to try to capture the definition and try to explain it for different audiences. So bear with me if you're already like, yeah, I know what this is, okay? But branding is, a lot of times people think about branding as a logo or a tagline, or they think of it as a marketing tool or a social media. They think about branding as social media, but essentially it defines who you are to your customers. It literally is how your customers get to know you. And so obviously that impacts the way you scale and grow your business. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a lot about building trust with your customers through branding. And I'm going to show some examples of how other organizations are doing this, organizations that you're very, very familiar with, okay? So don't worry about taking notes. I am going to post this video on our YouTube channel so that you'll always have access to the information. And make sure you stay till the end because I also want to refer you to a couple of people who I believe are going to help you do this quite well. So just in terms of laying the framework for what we're going to cover, I'm going to talk about brand identity, I'm going to talk about equity, and I'm going to come back to community because you actually need a community of support to help you get off the ground, especially if you're an entrepreneur or especially if you're running a business and maybe it's just you or maybe there's 10 people. But just to frame this and introduce LCM Group, which is my company and kind of hosting this, is my vision is I'm just providing a way to support veterans, again, as I mentioned, who are transitioning, offering you a way to see things differently when it comes to branding and how you use that to support your business. And so this particular presentation is customized for those veteran small business owners. And so I can't go any further without just making sure that I say thank you for your service for all of the veterans who are watching, whether it's the live or the replay. I just want to make sure I call that out. I actually come from a family of veterans as well. So So I just want to make sure that I say thank you for your service and everything that you're doing for the rest of us. All right. So in terms again of laying things out, and I also want you to watch these slides because I am communicating to you my organization, so LCM Group, and I'm showing you, I'm demonstrating how I tell the story of the organization. So this is storytelling, right? Now this is what I call small B branding, the look and feel. So I'm communicating this with you so that you can see what it looks like when you go off and do your thing, okay? So this is just a quick slide to just kind of cover what LCM Group covers. It talks about our easy about us. So this is who we are. We do build personal brands that help you find jobs and business brands that help you grow your profit. That's pretty much it. But as you're thinking about framing your business and the way that you present yourself, just start thinking about these particular items that you're seeing here. So I'm showing it to you for a reason. All right. So what are we going to cover? So within this webinar, I'm going to talk about what's a brand. I'm going to differentiate between what branding is versus what marketing is, just to kind of dispel some of the confusion there. We're going to dig deep into brand identity and cover everything along those lines. What is brand equity? We're going to touch on community. I'm going to share some tools and resources, and I'm going to introduce you to a couple of people who I think are going to really help you scale your business as well. So just hang on. All right, so let's start talking about what is a brand. And so on this slide, what I'm showing is, I think, a lot of the definitions that you may already be familiar with. So I'm going to run through. I'm not going to read everything on the slide. I'm going to pause so that you can take some of this in. But here again, I just want to make sure that we're clear about what is a brand. So we talk about it being a business concept that helps people know what your company is or identify you as a person. So a personal brand identifies you as a person. A business brand then would identify your business, right? I touch on the fact that a lot of times people think a logo or a tagline is an actual brand, but it's the marketing piece. It's how you're communicating that brand. So it's very different. It is the most important. You can just Google how many companies have had issues with their brand being impacted by something that's happened within society. A lot of us can think about some of the things that happened in the 90s around the financial institutions. I'm trying not to call specific brands out, but you can literally go back and kind of, you can Google to see how many brands were destroyed because of some of the stances maybe they've taken or things that they've done, or how they've impacted their customers, how they lost trust with their own client base. And so that actually impacts your brand, your reputation. Something I also want to remind people as you're building your brand. So as an entrepreneur, please make sure you register your trademark. There are a lot of folks who have these wonderful ideas. They create these great brands and then they forget to trademark. So make sure. So for example, I own a brand called Pi. Proud, inspired, empowered, and I've had to apply for trademark for that, so that I own that. And there's a lot of opportunities once you own that trademark, when you're registered, that you can also think about licensing things off. So just thinking about other opportunities and the way that you can create other monetary streams to support your business, that's one of them. So just make sure that you register your trademark. You can go on to the USPTO site, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office site. There's a lot of instructions there. It's very simple to submit. It's relatively simple, I should say, to submit, but you want to make sure that you do that and register your trademark so that you don't lose that. The last thing you want to do is to put all your hard-earned money and all your fantastic creative ideas into building this brand or building these fabulous taglines, and then have it taken because you didn't register your trademark. So please make sure USPTO, go on that site. As soon as you decide that you're going to have, whether it's an LLC or whatever way you're going to build this business, make sure you register your trademark so you own it. And then we'll touch on some of the different types of brands a little bit further. So the most recognizable brands, again, this is just trying to, help you out understand the difference between brands and marketing. And again, what are you known for? So the most recognizable brands, I've got them listed here for the top 10. And the first one being Apple. So when you're thinking about recognition and why it's important to have, to protect your brand, and why you really need to think about your brand strategy and how that ties back. Again, it doesn't matter if you've got a business that's one person with two products or one person with one product. You really have to make sure that you're protecting your brand, because this is how you're known. And so you can look at this list and really quickly you can identify what these companies are known for, right? And so this ties into brand equity over time. It's the fact that you want your customers to get to know you by just your name or your tagline, etc. So that's how important it is. And these are examples of companies that are leveraging their brand equity. So now I'm going to talk about when you use your brand. So I'm breaking this down in kind of four general areas. And like I said, you don't have to take notes. These are going to be on our YouTube channel, but this is really important. So when you think about building the brand for your company, the first thing is as a differentiator. If you're in the corporate space, we say that you want to have a brand that has a corporate differentiator or something unique or have a unique selling point. So it's as a differentiator because I want to set myself apart from the other person who's providing this products and services that I have. So you have to think about, how do I set myself apart from my neighbor who might be, doing a similar business that I'm doing, or maybe a competitor who is a town over that's doing what I'm doing. The second way is branding helps you with your reputation. It's established, it shows the credibility. So if you think about when you go to a small business website, and I'm going to use a website an example because that's the most outward facing way for you to see a brand in action. When you go to somebody's website and or if you search someone on Google or Yelp and you find out that they have a tainted reputation or the customer there's a customer experience that kind of went the wrong way, that impacts the brand, impacts the credibility. If your customer is saying they're giving you a bad review, for example, I'm going to show or share a resource who can actually help you if you have those type of customer service type processes that you actually need to build into. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a one person shop or 10 or 1,000, but I'm going to share a resource who I think would be great. You can contact her or work with her and she can help you build that into your process, the way that you respond to customer responses and things of that nature. But you have to think about, when you're building out your brand, has to serve as a differentiator, support your reputation. Obviously, you want to make sure that it drives sales. The 10 companies that I shared in the previous slide, the top 10 brands, again, Apple being the first one, I had Google on the list. These are companies that are banking on their brand. Nike, right? These are brands that are basically selling off of their list. And then the last one I want to add here is employer brand, which is different. An employer brand is associated with the employees, so the employee experience and what employees say about the organizations that you're serving in. So even again, if you have a two-person shop, you want to think about what's the experience your employees want to have, because when they leave that door, you want to make sure that those folks are referring your business, they're helping you to drive sales, they protect your reputation, they support your business as a differentiator to competitors. So these are the 4 ways that you actually use brands. All right. So now I'm going to get to just a really quick overview on what's the difference between a branding and marketing. And you can see this here. So brand really, it leans into the company, you're about us, what you're about. It's consistent. It's not about creating beautiful images and floating those out. Your customers are depending on some kind of emotional attachment. Why do they want to support your business? It's not just I'm a veteran small business owner. What is it about your company or your business that drives people to spend money and invest in your organization? So that's where branding kind of falls into play. It's around driving recognition of your business and then customer loyalty. It's very different from marketing. Marketing, again, is just the way that you communicate this out. So what you see on social media, you might see Some small businesses are very, they have a ton of social media traffic. They may have a lot of followers, but I always say to folks, you can have 1 million followers, but if it doesn't convert to sales, then you've got nothing, right? So from a business perspective, you have to think about how you use marketing to drive those needs and create the needs. But branding is actually kind of separate from that. So now I'm going to touch on brand identity. And this is, again, what I think what most people are familiar with. So if you, again, you start out your business and now you've established this is the about us, this is what we're about, these are the types of services or solutions we're going to sell. Brand identity is where you'd probably start working with like a digital media person or someone you contracted on Fiverr or something like that. Or maybe it's you, maybe you're the CEO, founder, the marketer, all of those things. But this is where you're setting your business apart in terms of the look, right? So now you're looking at the taglines, and I'm going to show you some examples of some very famous ones that you're familiar with. Unique selling points are just how you communicate the specific benefits, so that if you go to John's locomotive next door to Shelly's locomotive here, then there's something unique that's unique to my business, and I'm giving you the reason why you're going to buy from me, from Shelly versus John, from my competitor. Logos and colors mean a lot. So this is where a lot of people, you can go on to, again, if you're just a one person shop, you can go on to Canva as an example, and you can create your logos. But you want to take the time to think about even the color scheme that you're using and making sure that that is consistent, because that level of consistency is how people come to know you. So if I put something out, people know that it's coming from me. People know that it's coming from my business because I've established what makes me unique in terms of the look and feel and the identity. Even your about us. So if you're on your website, if you create a website, if you have an about us that talks really briefly, don't do the TLDR, what we call too long, don't read. Don't give you don't have to give a whole historical view of how you overcame all these things to get people want to come on your site and find out who you are, what you have to offer, and where do I buy it? Okay. And then when they leave, they want to know, where can I give a review? And you're going to have to hunt them for that. So thinking about, the way that you structure out, whether it's your site or the way that you communicate to your clients, the way that you use social media, just focus on what's really core to the identity and what you want people to know about the business. Remember, at the end of the day, is to drive sales. The last thing is just being really clear about whether you're an LLC or you're a proprietorship or a corporation. That is all a part of how you're identifying yourself, your business as a brand. These, again, are just some, I just wanted to pull out. So examples, though, of logos, right? And so these are, when you go anywhere, you kind of know where they are. They've established their brand identity. So, looking at these, I know what Instagram, I know Starbucks, I know MasterCard, I know Nike, Shell, Target, Apple, etc., right? This is what establishing a brand identity looks like. But this is different. When you see the taglines, think different. Just do it. I'm loving it. It's finger licking good. Open happiness. Because You're Worth It by L'Oreal, America Runs on Dunkin'. Those are taglines. So that's the difference. So as you're thinking about how do you build out your identity, it's not just creating a beautiful logo. These taglines mean something. It's the message that drives customers to have them have some kind of empathy and support your business. You're driving sales. So I just wanted to include this so that you had an idea of what logos and taglines and brand identity looks like. And then here is an example of vision versus a mission versus core values, and something that, a lot of y'all do not have this information on your site. But if you are a brand new business and you want people to develop a sense of trust and you want to establish your credibility and your reputation, you really ought to have something on your site that tells people what this is, because they're coming, getting to know you before they spend their money, before they make an investment. And so therefore you need to meter out some of what this is so that they have a good understanding of who it is they're working for and why you do what you do. That is your brand. So I'm coming to section 4. I'm talking to brand equity, and I hope you're still with me. Brand equity now is very simple. It's the value generated from the product or service when it's compared to something equivalent that like your neighbor's selling. Okay, so the equity is what the value you're getting out of it. So whether it's you're doing something for profit, if you're doing something for your community, or you're doing it for your employees. So the equity is what you're getting out of all the work that you would have done establishing your brand, establishing your business, establishing your vision, your mission statement, all of those things. It's what's the value. And so I'm planting this here because I want you to think long term about what is the value that's going to be generated from your product or your service. And here again, whether you're a for-profit or a non-profit, this is something that you want to keep in mind, right? So what's the value generated? What is it what does that look like? Think about the brand equity. So this is what's called the Keller brand equity model. And it basically just says that if customers have a positive association with your brand and they use it regularly over your competitor, right? So over Tom's locomotive versus Shelley's locomotive, that there's a natural positive effect, right? Positive association. So every time they come in contact with your brand, they have a positive association with it, right? Not, I went to Shelley's locomotive and every time I get there at 5 o'clock, they seem to be closed or someone's out to lunch. But if I go to Tom's, he's always open and he opens late. That's a positive or negative association. So you want to think about the components of brand equity. It's the positive and negative effect. Right? So remember the slide before we talked about brand equity, and I said you need to tie it back to whether it's for profit or for community or whatever, right? You have to think about how you're going to tie it back to that. What is the consumer perception of your business, and then the resulting value or coin for most of us, right? What return the brand's going to generate for your business as a whole. So this is a whole MBA section right here. The short version. But again, when you think about the equity that you want to get out of your business, this is something if you're writing up your business plan, there should be a section in there that talks about the brand equity. If you're going to be meeting with investors, this is something that you want to include your brand equity. Okay. So now we're coming to section 5, which talks about community. So again, stick with me. We don't have that much to go, but I just want to make sure I'm giving you all that's in here. So community is really now around, it's not just about your customers, but it's also about the communities you serve. So if you're in a larger organization, if you came from a corporate organization, you would have been in a situation where you hear about corporate social responsibility and the relation to community. And again, brand equity, I showed you a couple of slides back where we talked about for community. So a brand community is, it gives your brand a chance to build up the environment and then loyalty, and then messaging, and then targeting audiences, and you select different mediums and use your media as a social as a business strategy. So what does that mean? So as an example, as I mentioned, I own a brand called Pi, Proud, Inspired, Empowered. Part of what we do with Pi, we also have a Pi community. Within that Pi community or friends of Pi, right? So now we built a community. It includes people who are doing incredible things. We support local businesses, we support veteran organizations, we support Parade Deck, we support everyone, right? But what we've done is we've built out a target audience, and then we have targeted messaging. So we can say, hey, I'm going to give a free class about branding for small business for targeted group, so veteran small business owners within this community. I'm going to select the medium and channel. So social media, meaning I selected to use LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, because that's where the audience lives, right, for this particular thing. And that is a part of a business strategy. The business strategy is, I'm giving you this information for free to help you build your business. Come work with us if you want to take it further. So think about community in that sense. It's not about racking up a bunch of followers on social media. You have to be able to convert your followers to business, right? You have to be able to convert the followers to sales. Remember, we're talking about this as a business. Okay, so community, you can build communities on Facebook. Is still relevant. I know that a lot of younger folks are saying Facebook is dead. It's not. It's not. It depends on the target audience. So if you're a veteran and you're within a Facebook community, come outside the group, build a separate group. Maybe there's something that you're selling. Maybe you're talking to, again, back to Tom's Automotive. Maybe you've got a group that's for car lovers, and you're building out a community, and you're sharing things about cars and everything of interest. So now you've built a specific target audience, and now you've selected a medium. Maybe you're saying, okay, I'm going to do Facebook now, but we're going to expand it into Instagram. And then you're going to start creating messaging to support people to come and learn more about your cars, or come out to an event that you have, or you're telling your story about something that you've done. You're rebuilding a car, whatever that is. But the idea is to be consistent and really think about, what does that look like as a strategy for my business community? Okay, so that's what this is. So I just wanted to drop this in here. Again, it's not about just going on social media. You have to have a strategy behind it. And as a business, the business is the business, right? The business is that you want to drive sales, but you also want to build a community. This is also great because you get a chance to build up a referral system within your own community. You get feedback from your clients. You get all kinds of things. You get a lot of feedback and input. You learn as an entrepreneur. So just really think about the community that you're building. And the other thing I want to add is, it's not about creating a community and then you charge people $7 to come watch you sit on a panel. Please don't do that. People don't want to do that. There are a lot of folks that really believe that I'm going to take this group of people, and now I'm going to shift them into a community, and I'm going to charge them for the privilege of hearing me and some of my friends speak. Okay, I'm not a proponent of that, and I'll tell you why. Over time, it damages your reputation, because people feel like, well, I'm just paying to come and hear you speak. It's different when you're if you're building a community of just loyalty versus a community for business, because you want people who are going to come in and actually buy something, drive sales. So there has to be a strategy even with that. So if you're going to build a community where you're going to charge people to come and listen to a panel or do something like that, and your intention is not to drive sales, that's one thing. But if you're going to try to drive sales, you're building those communities, you're going to need to do things like, maybe, again, back to Tom's Automotive, and maybe I'm going to bring on an expert in this field, and I'm going to have this expert show up. So then I'll invite people to coffee and charge them for that, right? And that makes it a different sense. But you would have had the community of like-minded or interested individuals, targeted audience, that you can then message that to and reach them in that way. So just think about how you want to play this out with community. So now I'm just showing you all together collectively what branding looks like from just kind of a big, kind of a broader perspective. You see the logos in the top there. You can see the About Us. Again, it's much more detail on the website. But again, what I'm showing you is that you have to be kind of uniform. So if you start working with a digital media specialists, there are a lot of folks. You can hire someone on Fiverr, you can hire a friend, or maybe the friend is you, and it's just you on Canva. But just really step back and think about, what's the message, down to the colors. Like, what do you want your brand to represent? You can't do that without your identity. You can't do that without tying it back to your reputation. You can't do this. Don't do this without a strategy where you're just creating stuff, because you want to make sure that you're protecting your brand, you're standing out, you're unique in the market, and you're generating sales. So now I'm coming down to the last sections, y'all. I wanted to just share really quickly, Angela Black, she owns a company called Client Relations Consultant. And I mentioned before that for a lot of you, who will have customers, because that's the intent, right? So you will have customers. And so again, I'm just recommending, there is no kickback, but these are just people who are doing incredible work. And I just want to give them a call out. So Angela is really great for helping you build a customer service plan, right? So how do you respond or put out the fire so that you're not losing money? She also works on retainers so that she can help take on some of that work for some of the growing organizations, or she'll meet with you and help you figure out the strategies for your team. We were really lucky to be able to talk to her on one of our live evening shows called Tipsy Tuesdays. So you can catch the replay so that you can meet Angela. But I just highly recommend that you reach out to her when you're thinking about building out customer service. And everyone needs to have a customer service plan. Everyone. So make sure you contact her, and at the very least, find out what are maybe the 2 or 3 things that would work for your business. The next person I want to call out is James Paul. He's actually going to be joining one of our Tipsy Tuesdays coming up in April. I believe it's April 4th. But James, April 4th in 2023 for the recording. James is amazing. If you're a veteran who is transitioning and you're looking to start a business, he is an SBA loan consultant, and he is happy to work with you. So I have all of their information is back on the learncoachmodelgroup.com website. If you go to partnerships, you'll be able to see, and you see their information. You can click on their pictures, and it gives you their contact information, takes you to their site. So I just want to shout out, if you're looking for some help in those 2 areas, help with customer service, set that up, or help with just trying to get your loan approved and then making some of the next steps, you want to talk to James Paul. I also dropped these in here. You're welcome to reach out to me for a 30-minute free consultation. Like I said, I'm on here. I'm doing this from the heart. Okay, I'm doing this because I genuinely want you to succeed. I know it's very difficult for a lot of veterans who are transitioning, into entrepreneurship or into a private sector, all of those things, right? But I just wanted to make sure that I was sharing some of what I know. This isn't it. This is about 5% of what I know, but I'm giving it to you anyway. I don't want to do an overload, but you can reach out to me. You can go on the website, learncoachmodelgroup.com, and you can reach out to me that way, and we can talk further about what some of the needs are. If it's not something I can help you with, I'm sure I know plenty of people I can send you to. So I'm happy to do that. And then with the last thing is just, again, reminding you to just connect with us. My information is all here. I'm really big in investing in our veterans. Outside of this particular subject on brand being everything, is we also have a personal brand training for veterans. So personal brand training for veterans, that one's actually on Teachable. But that one is amazing because it's a short training. It's about 20 minutes. It's targeted for veterans. And it's for, again, veterans who are transitioning. Maybe you're coming out of the military and you're moving into a private sector. And so I teach you really simple things that you could be doing on LinkedIn to update your profile, the way you message things out, things to help you, transition, even the language, right? Because military speak is not the same as, corporate speak, right? So I give you some of those tips, but you can go on our website, learncoachmodelgroup.com, and you can check out those Teachable courses. And if you can't do it, maybe you can sponsor a veteran and buy him or her a personal brand course so that they can get their leg up in the job search market. So that's what I have. I am so excited again to, come on and share this with you. We will leave this video on YouTube for as long as they will have us. Please love, like, and share it. Get this out to as many people as you can. This information is free. I really think that this is going to help somebody. I will definitely try to come back. If I think of other things that would be helpful, send me a note, let me know. For those of you all who are watching the replay, drop your comments. I still respond to comments, weeks later. So drop your comments and let me know if this was helpful and valuable to you. If you know someone in your family who's starting a business, get this information in their hand, y'all, so they're not trying to figure out how to hire a consultant and do all that. This is free. Get the information out so we can help them succeed. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. And I totally missed all of the chats. Thank you so much Parade Deck. Thank you so much, Corey. I give a shout out at the very beginning to both Parade Deck and to Stars and Stripes, and thanking you guys for everything that you're doing over there. So with that, we're gonna close out the program. You know how to reach me, and I am so grateful again for all of your service and everything that you all do. Have a great rest of the week and take care.